2017, financial literacy is spreading among high school, college students, teachers, faculties, workers, and corporate employees through classroom and online sessions. Having conducted more than 250 such sessions both in classroom and online, Mr. Puranik has many accomplishments being with Maths Calib 40 plus years experience in banking industry. He is retired as senior manager from State Bank of India, gaining wide experience in the fields of branch management, credit analysis, international banking, small business finance, housing and auto finance, audit functions, etc. He has also held many overseas assignments at state level of India, Los Angeles, USA as credit officer. We welcome you once again, sir, and are very happy you are here to address us. We are eagerly looking forward to learning from you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you for a nice introduction, Webby, and thank you, Ila ma'am, for the welcome. Now let's begin today's session. On behalf of ICICI Foundation for Inclusive Growth, I welcome you to today's financial program. Welcome all the students and faculty and all the participants to today's program. Today's topic is BFSI sector, personal finance. Just let's have the next slide, ma'am.
Sir, sorry to disturb you, sir. Your voice is not audible.
Now it is audible?
Now it is.
Okay. I think then I have to hold like this only. Okay, no issue.
Acha, take it, sir.
Yeah. So, for today's topic is BFSI sector, personal finance. BFSI sector comprises banking, financial services, and insurance. All these services are very important to us as an individual. So, what is the role of these services in our? How do you manage our personal finance? This is our today's topic. So, personal finance is much different from corporate finance or business finance. In corporate finance or business finance, there is a balance sheet, there is a profit and loss account, there is a current ratio, there is debt equity ratio. And to manage the corporate finance or business finance, there is a team of accountant, chartered accountant, finance manager, chief financial officer. But in case of personal finance, it is up to you. You have to manage all the because ultimately your money and you have to take the decision. You may take the help of some financial advisor or financial consultant, but ultimately decision is yours because it is your money. So personal finance, savings, deposit and investments, borrowings and loans, and protection and security. Whatever assets you accumulated, you have to protect it by taking insurance, financial frauds, so that your wealth doesn't get lost. Last but least, transfer wealth to heirs. Whatever assets you accumulated or wealth you accumulated, you have to transfer to next generation, and that transition should be smooth. For that, you need nomination, will, and estate planning. Planning is also one of the part of the personal finance in today's agenda. So let us go to the next slide. What is savings? What is savings? What is deposit? What is investment? Before that, we will see the financial journey of an individual. How our journey goes, financial journey goes in our life. There are 3 stages in our life. Teenager or young stage up to 20 to 25 years. Parent and guardian. At the most, you get some pocket money, you just spend, don't manage it. The next stage comes youth or adult stage. From 20 to 25 years to 60 to 65 years. Your journey starts here. It is full of financial activity. You will be earning, you will be getting salary, you will be getting business income, other income. You will be spending and buying on your necessity and other requirements. You will be saving. You will do some investment to earn extra return, extra income. Borrowing will do because to meet your requirement, maybe to buy a house or maybe for buying a car. Future planning or retirement planning, these are most important because that you have to do for your next stage, that is the senior citizen state, from 60 or 65 years onwards. You'll be reaping the benefits whatever you have accumulated during the young age. The earning during this period will be very limited. You'll be spending basically on living and medical expenses, and consideration of saving and investment will be there. Let us go to the next slide. What is savings, deposit, and investment? How do you define saving? Saving is defined as a excess of income over expenses. And the mathematically putting it, income minus expenses is called saving. But why saving is required? Every month you will get the earning, maybe salary or maybe or maybe any other source. But every month the income will come. During the month you spend it, next month again you will get the income. Then why do we need the saving? And how do you do the saving? What are the important points for saving? Let us see in the next slide. Saving is important. Saving is required for our emergency. There are some unexpected expenses like illness and emergency to meet contingency for the lean period, and there are no earnings. So during the recent pandemic, COVID pandemic, we might have seen that a lot of people have lost their job, or their income might have come down, their business might have come down. If that time, if they had some emergency fund to meet this lean period or meet this contingency, they would have faced less difficulty. So for emergencies, you need the saving. You also need the saving for your future needs. There are certain things which you cannot buy from your regular income, like a car or higher education. You need some savings for that. Some larger expenses also, like buying a house or children's marriage or higher studies, you need the saving. Saving is also needed for your old age. At the old age, when you go old and become more than 60 years old, either your job will be finished, means you will get retired, or you are doing a business or at the factory, or doing some activity, you're not able to do that activity with full fledged, and your income will come down, or you will have no income. For that, you need the saving. And also, it helps in avoiding impulsive spending. Suppose you have a lot of money in your pocket, you just go and buy something which you do not need. But if you have already saved money, in your pocket there are less money, then you will not spend on unnecessary things or such things which you do not need. So just because you have the money to buy something doesn't mean that you should buy or spend mindfully. Now there are certain tips for saving. How do you do saving? So the first important thing is that the budgeting. Budgeting is the important tool for saving. You have to make a budget of your income and expenses. Now, what to budget in income? The income is always limited. Maybe there are different sources of income. Maybe you have salary income, you have some commission income. If you already some saving, then you can get some interest income. Or if you have some house or shop rented, you can get rent income. And if you have agriculture income, or you maybe have some business or factory, so all those sources of income. But all the sources taken together, your income will always be limited. For expenses, there is no limit on expenses. Expenses up to you, how much you want to spend, and whether you want to save or not. So you have to segregate your income and expenses. Categorize your expenses is very important, least important. Which are least important expenses? Luxury items are not important. They are very least important. What are very important? Your food, shelter, and clothing are most important expenses, very important expenses. But there are additional expenses where now it has become important, like transportation, education, medical, and also communication. These are things that now become very important expenses. So you have to prioritize them. And the luxury items, which are not necessary, you can postpone them or you can reduce the expenses on them. You categorize according to that. Now you try to settle your expenses through your income. Again, as I told you, income is always limited. So you have to see that income exceeds the expenses with as wide margin as possible. And figure out the expenses we can curtail. Like luxury expenses you can curtail. Suppose you are going for a picnic or going to the movie 4 times in a week, you can go twice in a week. You are going to hotel 4 times a week, you can go twice in a week. Like that, you can curtail your expenses. If income is higher than the expenses, you will have a better saving. But your expenses increase are more than the income, then you have to borrow money because you are in the deficit. Save a fixed amount from your income and use balance amount for expenses. This is a method of saving. As I told you, the income minus expenses is called the saving, but that is not the correct way. The correct way is income minus first the saving and then the expenses. Please keep that slide only, I think. Yeah. So income minus saving and then expenses. So there are two benefits of it. One thing is your saving is assured, because suppose you have decided to save 10% of your income. Your 50,000 is monthly income. So 5,000 you have saved and 45,000. Now out of this 45,000, you start spending the money. At the month end, you will be spared with some money, maybe 2,000, maybe 1,000, maybe 5,000. So that is additional saving. So in addition to the 10% you have saved, there will be some additional saving also. So assured saving and additional saving, these are two benefits. So the formula becomes income minus expenses and income minus savings and then expenses. Now the last point comes that if you believe in the savings, then you can do the investment and then only you can do all the things. So whatever I am going to tell you in another 45 minutes or 1 hour is depend only on your savings habits. If you do not believe in savings, you cannot do investment, you cannot buy insurance, and there is no need to protect your assets because you have not saved anything. So all those things which we are going to talk about is depend on your saving habit. Now we are coming on the investment. So what is investment and how do you do the investment? Investments means buying some asset. The assets will generate some return over a period of time, and you will also have to take the care of risk and volatility. So remember that investment will not give the return immediately. It will take some time to give return. Also, there is some risk associated with the investment, and also there is a volatility, there is a fluctuation. The value of assets will come down, increase or go down like that. Suppose you buy some gold ornaments and keep it for years with an expectation to increase in its value is called investment. Some other investments are buying mutual funds, buying company bonds, shares, properties, real estate investment. These are all various kinds of investment. If the money is invested wisely, it will generate a good return. But if it is not done wisely, it will lose value due to inflation. So we have to remember that doing any investment, the prime focus should be to beat the inflation rate with widest possible margin. Because if return is not more than the inflation rate, your return is negative. We'll see in the next slide what is inflation. Let us study inflation. Inflation means money cannot buy the same amount of goods in the future. So value of money goes down over a period of time. Something that costed 1,000 rupees 10 years ago will cost much more today, maybe cost 1,500 or maybe cost even 2,000 today. In other words, the value of money is decreased with the time. The rate at which the value of currency decreases is called the inflation. A small example is given here. Let us understand the example. For example, 1 kilogram of sugar is costing 40 rupees today. At 5% inflation rate, it will cost 65 rupees after 10 years. If you have 400 rupees, we can purchase 10 grams of sugar today. If we do not invest these 400 rupees, then after 10 years also, we are having 400 rupees with us, and we can purchase only 6 grams of sugar after 10 years. If we invest this 400 rupees at a rate of 4% per annum, now we have got 432 rupees after 10 years. Even then, we are not able to buy 10 grams of sugar. We will be only able to buy only 6.6 kg sugar after 10 years. But you are wise enough and attended the today's seminar, then you will invest this 400 rupees at a rate of interest 8% or above. Then you will have 864 rupees with you after 10 years. Now you have two choices. Either you can buy 10 grams of sugar and use the remaining money for other expenses, or you can buy 13 grams of sugar after 10 years. So remember, in the last stage, our return is 8%, but inflation rate is 5%. So our net return is 3% positive. In earlier stage, the return is 4%, whereas inflation is 5%. So return is negative or minus 1%. So remember that whenever you do the investment, your return should be more than the inflation rate. You should have positive return, positive net return. Let us see the next slide. How do you do the investment? Investment can be done only after saving. Suppose you have regular income. From that regular income, you cannot do investment. Only two investments, recurring deposit and SIP, systematic investment plan, can be done only from regular income. All other investments can be done only from your savings. Investment also requires great discipline and patience because its value will increase only over a period of time. So you have to have a patience. Also, you have to have discipline because if you regularly invest, then only you will get a good return. Investment can be done for short term, medium term, and long term. Short term means maybe 1 or 2 years period. Medium term maybe 2 years to 5 or 7 years. Long term maybe 7 years to onward, 10 years and onwards. Select the appropriate instrument as per your planning. As per your financial planning, you have to select the instrument, different instrument for short term, different instrument for long term, and different instrument for medium term. Now the most important point comes is it is better to start investing at an early stage of life. Student, in today's webinar or today's session, I am going to give you 3 tips. Those 3 things you have to done in the early stage of life. The first thing is come here, that is the start investing. If you start investing at the early stage of life, the compounding effect on your investment will benefit your investing, your appreciating your capital, and it will gradually grow day by day. Also, you have to remember that diversification of investment to minimize the risk. As you know, Thus, you cannot keep your eggs in one basket. Similarly, you should not invest only in the one asset. If the value of that asset falls, all your money goes. So you have to diversify and do your investment in different kind of assets so that your risk is minimized. There are some factors which are very important you have to remember while investing. These are risk, return, tenure, tax, and liquidity. We'll consider it points separately. Risk: every investment, every asset is subject to some risk due to volatility, due to fluctuation, due to various kind of risk associated with it. Its value fluctuates, and you may not get the return as predicted. Or it may happen that even your capital or your principal may also get lost. So you have to consider how much risk is associated with my particular investment. Return is very much connected with the risk. Higher the risk, higher the return. Lower the risk, lower the return. So if you do not take risk, just keep the money in saving account, your return will be very less. And you take a lot of risk and invest in the share market, your return will be better. But remember, the risk is there. So it may happen that you may lose some money during the period. So risk and return is very much connected to each other. What is return? The value of asset that appreciates during a time is kind of return. Return can be regular or can be its appreciated value. So if you get every month some income, that is a return. But the value of asset increases over a time, and that is also called a return. Tenure. Tenure means the period. How much period you have to keep the money invested to get a good return. Suppose you keep the money in saving account, every 3 months you will get the return. But if you invest some money in the real estate, some you buy property. So after 3 months, there is no return because its value is not appreciated. If you wait for 5 years or 10 years, then its value is surely appreciated and you got a good return. Tax. Whatever investment you do, it is subject to tax liability. So remember how much tax is associated the return you are getting. Liquidity is very important because whatever investment you have done, if you are not able to liquidate it or you are not able to disinvest it when it is required. So during the pandemic time, people who invested in the property and they required money, but they cannot sell the property immediately. They have to wait for 6 months, maybe 1 year they have to wait, and then only the property can be sold. So they could not get the money immediately. But suppose you have money in saving account and you had some emergency and you need 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, and the money is available in your saving account, you can very well go to the ATM, withdraw the money, and your problem is solved. But you have invested a lot of money in the property, so you cannot get immediate return from that. So liquidity is more important, that the money should be available immediately. So it is said that your 6 months income, what is the income for your next 6 months, is to be available in the liquid form, maybe in the saving account, maybe in the fixed deposit, or maybe in the gold ornament, where you can go and sell it immediately or withdraw from your account and use the money. So liquidity is also most important in case of investment. Let us go and see the next slide, which are different kind of savings and investment options. There are various options available. I have just listed all of them. Some of them might have missed. You can go through them just one by one. Once you start earning income, you open a saving account with the bank or post office. You start saving money. Once you have accumulated a little bit saving, you can think of opening a recurring deposit account, or you have lump sum money. You can make a fixed deposit in the bank to get the higher return. Saving account, the interest rate is very minimum, maybe 3.5, 3.7, maybe 4%, like that. But you have a higher amount, you have already saved some money, you can go for recurring deposit. So interest rate may be 6%, 7%. Fixed deposit also, the interest rate varies from 6%, 7%, 8%, depending on the period. NSC or KVP, National Savings Certificate or Kisan Vikas Patra, you can buy from post office, and it can be used as a tax saving instrument. Sukanya Samruddhi Yojana is available for the people who have daughter. It is available for opening the account for in the name of girl child. Up to 2 girl childs these accounts can be opened. The higher return is available in the form of 7.6%. Any 2 daughter, for them 2 accounts can be opened till their age of 10 years. So before their 10 years age, the Sukanya Samruddhi Yojana account can be opened. Company deposit is a good way of investment, but always remember it depends on the performance of the company. If the company doesn't perform good, your money may lost or you may not get the return. Public Provident Fund can be opened with bank and post offices. It is also a good kind of investment for tax saving. Government bonds are very safe, but return is less. Stocks and shares, these are company shares, and the performance depend on various factors, depending on company's performance of the economy, performance of the market. So the return will be higher, but risk will be more higher. Okay. So mutual fund comes in between your company shares or company stocks is a buffer. So if you want to invest in the stocks and share, you can start investing with the mutual fund, so that the mutual fund will take care of your investment in the companies. See, SIP or systematic investment plan is one of the methods for investing in the mutual fund. You can buy the real estate, like you can buy house property, you can buy a shop, you can buy office premises. These can be bought, but the investment required is very high. Maybe 10 lakh, 15 lakh, 25 lakhs is required for investing in the real estate. The return will be there only after 5 years or 10 years. It cannot be immediately. If you buy gold coins, gold jewelry, gold ornaments, it is also one kind of investment, but there are two risks associated with it. The value of the gold fluctuates every day. Also, there will be physical gold coins or gold jewelry. So there is a risk of theft or robbery, and you may lose your investment if there is a theft or there is a robbery. Pension fund or retirement plan is very good to manage your retirement age. Atal Pension Yojana is one kind of pension plan available to people for investment. Similarly, National Pension Scheme is also available for every person who is working. They can join the National Pension Scheme and get a return as a pension useful for their retirement. Let us go for the next slide. Now we'll see what are these investment options are classified based on their risk level. Saving account, FD and PPF are very low risk because these are generally managed by the banks or post offices. So risk is very low. Gold and real estate has medium risk because generally there is very risk associated with it. Stocks and bonds, shares and stocks are very risky because high risk is there. Liquidity, real estate is very low liquid. You cannot encash it immediately. You have to wait for 6 months or 1 year to liquidate a real estate property. FD, PPF and gold are very medium liquid. You can go to the bank and encash your FD or take a loan against that. You can also take a loan against your PPF investment. Also, you can take a loan against the gold, or you can sell also the gold ornament. So they are medium liquid. Saving accounts to highest liquid. You can go anytime, even in the midnight, you can go and withdraw the money from your saving account from ATM card to the ATM machine. Let us see the next slide. We'll see in detail about the mutual fund. You can go to the next slide. What is mutual fund? Mutual fund is a mechanism that pools the savings of a number of persons. Number of investors come together. Previous slide, ma'am. A number of investors come together and pool their money and give their money to the fund manager, who invest in the different type of securities and return it to the investors. So you can have earlier slide. Will we have a better understanding of the mutual fund? Yeah, there is a small image shown here. The investor pool and give their money to the fund manager. But who is a fund manager? Fund manager is a well-qualified professional person who invests in the securities. Fund manager is also backed by his real research team, who study the stock market or company performance, economy every day, and guides the fund manager whether to invest in the particular shares or not, whether to withdraw from a particular security, how the particular company is doing. Based on that advice, the fund manager invests in the different securities. These securities generate the returns, and return is passed on back to investors. So like that, the circle goes. So investor doesn't have to day-to-day monitor the share market. He just invests in the mutual fund and believe on the fund manager. But remember that mutual funds doesn't give the assured return. It will give the market return only. There's no assurance that you will get 8% return or 12% return, depending on the market. If market goes up, your return will be higher. If market goes down, your return will be less. But if you keep in the mutual, invested in the mutual fund for a longer term, the return potential will be higher and it will give better performance than the other insurance products like saving account or fixed deposit. Now let us see the benefits of the mutual fund in the next slide. There are certain benefits of mutual fund. The first benefit is that it is professionally managed. As I told you, it is managed by the professional people, well qualified person. So your management will be proper. Easy liquidity. Whenever you want to encash the money, just make an online request and your money will come back in your account in 2 or 3 days. So very easy to liquidate it. Risk is diversified because mutual fund investment is done in different companies, different securities. So there is a risk is get reduced. Return position is very good because fund is managed by a professional person. He will see that return is get higher. He'll invest in certain securities where return is good and you will get a good return. It is well regulated and invest protection is there because SEBI and MP, they control the performance of mutual fund. So it is very well regulated. They see how mutual fund is performing. Cost is get divided between different investors. So operating cost is very low. Administration is very convenient. You just go to their office and fill up the form, or you can do it online and you can do the investment. The flexibility is there. You can do the investment with 100 rupees or maybe 1,000, maybe 5,000 or maybe lakh rupees. So there is a flexibility of investment is available. Now let us see in the next slide how the investment can be done through SIP. SIP means systematic investment plan. It is a type of investment method where you can invest a fixed or variable amount at a regular intervals in a investment scheme. So amount can be fixed or it can be variable. You can invest at a regular interval, maybe every month, every quarter, or every 6 months. And the amount will be smaller because every month you are investing. So you need not have to do a large sum of saving. You can do it through a smaller amount. There are certain features we will see one by one. It is very perfect for first-time investors and retail investor who want to invest in the mutual fund. It also develops the habit of savings, or it gives a discipline of investing regularly. Ease of investing. The process is automated and there is flexibility. Automatically from every month, your account, the money will go through ECS or through the standing instruction. Flexibility is there. Suppose you decided to save 500 rupees every month, but if you get some additional amount as a bonus or as an incentive and want to invest in a mutual fund, you can do any additional investment by yourself as a flexibility. Rupee cost averaging, because every month when investment will be done, so the rate will be different. The value of your asset will be different. So there is no worry about markets ups and down. So during the 12 months period, the averaging will be done and will get a good return. Power of compounding effect. We'll see in the next slide what is the benefit of compounding effect. And that way the return will be higher and we'll get a high return in the SIP. What is power of compounding? It is also called interest on interest. During your school days, you might have studied. There are two methods of investment of calculating interest. One is simple interest and another is compounding interest. In case of compounding interest, the benefit is that the interest earned is added to the principal and reinvested, therefore earning interest on the principal plus interest. And when this compounding interest takes place for a long duration, the return becomes much higher as compared to the simple interest. So you will get a good return for a longer period. In the long term, huge benefits can accrue from compounding if the money is allowed to remain invested. So remember that if you do the investment very early, then the benefit will accrue to you. In the next slide, we will see the example how the benefit of compounding interest takes place. Suppose the amount you invested at a SIP and 8% per annum earning until the age of 60. And there are different people. Somebody has started at the age of 25. He is very wise enough and started the investment at a 25 years age. So he has got a 35-year period for investment. Every month he deposited 1,000 rupees. So how much total amount he said? There are 420 months. So during these 420 months, he has saved 4,20,000 rupees. And the value at the age of 60 will become 22,79,463. So he has got a earning of 18,59,000 as an interest. Somebody is not that wise enough. He started late and started investing at a 40 years of age. So the investment period is 20 years. He invested 1,750 rupees He also saved 4,20,000. But return he got is 10,30,000. So only 6,10,000 he has got an interest return. And somebody is not very wise and started very late. At the age of 55, he started investing. Now there are only 5 years left. So the investment is 7,000 every month and saving is 4,20,000. Everybody saved 4,20,000. The last person got 5,17,000 only, not even a 1 lakh rupees he got an interest. So even though the same total amount of rupees 4,20,000 is invested, if you start early, the value of your investment becomes very high. So students, it is very important to start investing in early age. Now let us see in the next slide. Now we'll see about bank loans to individuals. Bank gives loan to various kind of things for business purpose, like starting a business, starting a factory, for a startup, also for agriculture activity. Banks give different kind of loans. For bank also gives the loan to individuals. Let us see in the next slide what are the different loans available to individuals from the banks. Can we have a next slide, ma'am? Yeah. So education loan is available for the individuals for students for higher studies. Once the students complete 10th or 12th, they can go for a diploma or degree course, either maybe in India or abroad, and they can study. So some of the courses like engineering or medical, the expenses are very high and the parents are not able to meet the expenses. And in that stage, they can take a loan from the bank. Education loan is available for studies in India as well as abroad. The loan is available up to 10 lakh rupees for studies in India and for up to 20 lakh rupees for studies in abroad. But the loan amount which you take, you need not have to pay immediately. During your studies, the loan is taken from the bank. After the education is completed, you are given 1 year period for getting a job or starting a business. After 1 year period, your repayment starts and you have to repay it during 5 to 7 years period in EMI. Personal loan is available for your immediate requirement or for your expenses. It is one kind of unsecured loan. You can take it from bank or finance companies, and interest rate is very high on personal loan because there is no security given by you. So loan is very costly, interest rate is very high. Loan against deposit or security is available. Suppose you have made a fixed deposit in the bank, or you have bought NSE or KVP from post office, and you need some money urgently. So you can go to the bank and take a loan against your fixed deposit or against NSE or KVP. And once you repay the loan, your deposit or security will be returned to you. Consumer durable loan are very popular to buy the household assets or household requirements like furniture, mobile phone, television set, refrigerator, microwave oven, washing machine. These are the items which you want to buy for high-end mobile, which you want to buy. You can take a consumer durable loan from bank or finance companies. You can repay it within 12 months period. Home loan is very popular loan available to individuals for buying a house or acquiring house or flat or residential property. Once in your lifetime, everyone has to take a home loan because everyone dreams or having his own house or his own home. So now the second point comes, which you have to do in the early stage of life, is buying a house. Students, remember to buy a house before 30 or 35 years of age, because if you buy a house and take a home loan, you will get a 25 to 30 years EMI because your age is 30 years and the housing loan is available up to the 60 years of age. So you will get 30 years EMI and your EMI amount will be very less. But you delay and take a house, purchase a house at the age of 45 and take a housing loan, now only 15 years period is available. So EMI will be very high. Housing loan is available for buying a ready-built house or ready-built flat from a builder or from in a reseller from a person who is selling a house. Or if you already have a land, you can construct a house and take a construction loan or a housing loan from the bank or finance companies. Or already you have a house and you want to construct make additional construction as a second story or third story. Also for that purpose, you can take housing loan. Housing loan is very cheaper and available for a period of 5 years to 25 or 30 years EMI. Mortgage loan is available if already you have a real estate property. Suppose already you have a shop or an office building office premises or a housing property available in your name and you require some money, you can take a mortgage loan from a bank or finance company. Once you repay the loan, your property will be free from bank's mortgage. Car loan or vehicle loan is available for buying two-wheeler or four-wheeler, and you can take a loan against that. Once you repay the loan, car or your vehicle will be free from the bank's charge. Gold loan is available against pledge of banks against gold ornament or gold jewelry. It is available from bank and finance company. Once you repay the gold loan, your ornaments will be returned to you. Credit card is very popular loan available from bank and credit card companies. Very short-term loan, very popular loan to buy anything. When you go in market, if you don't have money in your pocket, just use a credit card and buy the thing you want to buy. But remember, students, credit card is the best buddy, but a worst foe, because if you do not use it wisely, it becomes your enemy and becomes very difficult to manage a credit card. So if you have a credit card, please manage it wisely and remember to use it. Make it the purchases within your control. Don't just go and buy anything which you do not need. Now let us go to in the next slide and see what are the things which we remember when you borrow. Suppose you are going to take a loan, but before that you take in consideration, analyze objectively and determine how much loan you will need and how are you going to repay the loan. Remember, the loan is to be repaid from your regular income. The EMI is to be paid from your income. If you do not have the regular income and just take a loan, then how will you repay it? Borrow or take a loan only for a productive or income generating activity and repay the loan from this income. Suppose you take a housing loan or a home loan. Remember that you are saving on your rental income, or if you are given a house property for rent, you will get extra income as a rent income. So from that you can pay the EMI. So the repayment has to come from the loan asset which you have created out of the loan taken. You must utilize the loan only for the purpose for which you have availed it. Don't diversify the loan amount. Like you have taken a car loan and bought a car and sold the car somewhere unofficially and use the money elsewhere. That is not the correct way. So don't diversify the loan amount. Now let us see what you do after you take a loan. So abide by the repayment of terms and condition. What are the terms and condition of loan? You have to abide by it. Pay all the installment, all the EMI in time and full. These two things are very important. Pay the EMI timely. Try to repay one day before or automate the process so that automatically one day before your EMI is deducted from your account and the loan amount is repaid. Also repay the amount in full, not a 1 rupee less. Try to repay 100 rupees more than the EMI amount so that there is no default and there is no penalty on your loan account. Try to automate the payment of installment so that the amount is deducted from your saving account by way of ECS or by way of standing instructions. If you have surplus fund with you, like you got some incentive or you got some bonus, then you deposit the surplus fund in loan account, it will reduce your interest burden. So depositing in a loan account is also one kind of saving. Repay the high interest bearing loans early. Suppose you have taken a housing loan and also a personal loan. The personal loan is costly. The interest is higher there in the personal loan. So you get some additional amount, you sell something or you get some incentive, then you can pay the amount in the higher interest bearing loan, that is a personal loan. Compounding effect in loan is very dangerous. Earlier we have seen the effect of compounding interest in the savings, that our money rises very fast if you invest due to compounding effects. But if you take a loan, then also the loan amount becomes very large if you do not pay the dues timely. There are two reasons behind it, because the interest rate on a loan is higher than the interest rate on savings or assets. Similarly, the compounding in the loan accounts takes place every month, whereas compounding in the investment takes place either quarterly or half-yearly or yearly. So if you do not pay the dues timely, your dues will become rise to an alarming level in a short time. So if you have taken a loan, try to repay the installments very timely and very regularly, so the amount doesn't dues doesn't become very high. If you repay your regular EMI, it will also improve your credit score or your CIBIL score. If you have multiple credit cards, maybe 2 or 3 credit cards, use it wisely and use only one credit card because of various schemes or various attractions. Don't use multiple credit cards because management will become very difficult. Every time you have to remember the due date, due amount. So if you have different cards, use only one card. The last thing is credit card is the best buddy, but a worst foe. If you are using the credit card, use it wisely and repay its dues every month full. If you do not pay the amount full, next month the penalty and interest will charge on it and dues will become higher. If you do not pay for 2 or 3 months, dues will become 1.5 times or maybe 2 times if you do not pay for a year or so. So remember, credit card is to be used very wisely. Now see the next point. We'll go to the next slide, which is about CIBIL. You know very well about the CIBIL score. CIBIL score is most important if you are taking a loan. If you are not taking a loan, then CIBIL score is not required. But you are going to take a loan, the bank or finance company will verify your CIBIL score. And if your CIBIL score is good, then the loan will be given to you. Let us see what is CIBIL. In the next slide, we will see what is CIBIL. Just one more click, please. CIBIL is known as Credit Information Bureau India Limited. It is India's first credit information company. Now it is called TransUnion CIBIL. For business credit information, there are different agencies like ICRA and CARE. But in case of individual, CIBIL collects the record of individuals about their past loans and past credit card and history of repayment. And whatever this record is collected, this is used by CIBIL and banks to evaluate your loan application, approve your loan application in the future. If there is a very small irregularity, it will be tracked by reported, and your CIBIL score will come down, and your credit application in the future will become slightly difficult. Let us see in the next slide what is CIBIL score. Just one more click, please. CIBIL score is a 3-digit numeric summary of credit history. It is a 3-digit number, and its score ranges from 300 to 900. 300 is a very worst score, and 900 is the best score. The closer your score is to 900, the higher chances are you are getting the loan approved. The score above 650 is generally accepted by the banks and finance institution to give you the loan. But how to maintain a good credit score? There are certain tips which you have to see. The first tip is that always pay your dues on time in full. Pay 1 day before and pay more than the due amount. So automatically pay the dues so that you do not have to bother for repayment of the loan. Keep your balances low. Suppose you are using a credit card or using an overdraft limit and you are given a limit of 20,000. And every month you are using 20,000 rupees full, then your credit score will come down. So try to use it to the minimum level or maybe 50% level. If you are using it to 10,000 rupees, then your credit score will be good. Maintain a healthy mix of credit between secured and unsecured loan. Suppose you have taken a lot of personal loans. So these are unsecured loans. So your credit score will deteriorate, credit score will get affected. But you have taken a housing loan, you have taken a loan against deposit, or loan against gold ornament. These are secured loans. So your credit score will improve. Apply for a new credit in moderation. Suppose you want to take a loan and you go and make an application in 2 or 3 or 4 banks. Every bank will make a request in the CIBIL. And every bank will generate a CIBIL score, take a CIBIL report from the CIBIL side, and CIBIL will know that you have made an application in 4 or 5 banks, so your CIBIL score will come down. Suppose your neighbor has taken a personal loan and he has asked you to give a guarantee in that loan, or your friend has taken a loan and you have given a guarantee in that account. So if that fellow doesn't pay the loan timely, your credit score will come down. So monitor your co-signed, guaranteed and joint accounts regularly. So if you are given a guarantee in an account and the person doesn't pay, your CIBIL score get affected. Review your credit report once in a year. Generate a CIBIL report from the CIBIL site. Verify it, how much score you got. If there is a mistake or there is some misreporting, you can approach the CIBIL and they will correct the CIBIL report. So CIBIL report is good, very important for getting a loan. Next slide, ma'am. Next slide, please. Now we'll see about life and general insurance. Whatever assets we have accumulated, they are physical assets. One more click, please. Whatever assets we accumulated, they are subject to certain risk. Some of the assets are physical and some of the assets are in the digital form, maybe in the banks. So those are to be protected from the frauds. But let us understand the insurance for the physical assets. Physical assets including our own life. Our life is also very precious and our family depend on our income and our life. So remember that life and property of individual are surrounded by the risk of death, disability and destruction. There is always a risk of death or disability or destructions. And this risk will result into financial loss. Anything happens to us or to our loss, will there be financial loss. Will incur certain extra expenses or either medical or repairing that asset, or in case of death, your family income will come down. So insurance is one of the way to protect, to transfer such risk to an insurance company. So if you take an insurance cover, the risk is transferred to the insurance company. But insurance company will just not give you as an insurance cover. You have to pay some amount that is called premium. So if you take an insurance cover, you have to pay certain premium. But what is insurance? It is an arrangement. Through this arrangement, a company or the state, the insurance company undertakes to provide and guarantee of compensation for specified loss. Slide is not visible. I think it is visible to me.
I think my screen is clearly visible. Can you please, somebody tell me whether the screen is visible or not?
I think to me it is visible.
Yes,
No,
yes,
it is visible. So,
Yes.
Kajal ma'am, please, if you are not able to see, you have to check the connectivity from your side, or please rejoin again.
Yeah, so I think I am able to see.
It's
So most of
Sir,
the people are
everybody
able to
is
see, I think.
acknowledging
Yeah.
that they are able to see.
Yeah, okay. So this risk may result into financial loss, and the insurance company will provide a guarantee for compensation of this risk or loss or damage or illness in return of the premium or a specified payment of a specified premium. Remember, this premium which we are paying is the cost of taking the insurance cover. So once the amount is paid, it is not coming back to you. It is a cost of taking the insurance cover. Now let us see which kind of insurance are available in the next slide. There are two types of insurance. One is life insurance, which is taken against our own life, and second is non-life insurance, which is also known as general insurance. This is taken for the various kind of physical assets we are having, like car or vehicle we have. So we take a car or vehicle insurance. Our health insurance we take to protect against expenses our medical expenses. It is in the form of Mediclaim. Shop insurance is taken for the against fire and burglary or theft. Similarly, home insurance also taken against fire and burglary or theft, or loss due to different kind of natural calamities. But life insurance is very important because your family depends on your income, on your earning capacity. The person who is earning income is no more than how the family will live. For that, the life insurance taken. There are three kind of life insurance policy available. One is pivot term plan, where you just pay the premium amount. Once you pay the premium amount and term is over, no money will come back to you. And if during that period anything happens to your life, the amount of insurance will be paid to your family. There are two types of insurances: term insurance and whole life insurance, where you pay during a particular period, and once the period is over, no money will come back to you. In case of term plans for investment, in addition to the premium, you are paying additional amount as a saving component. This saving component is invested by the insurance company in various kind of investment, and the return is given to you in the form of money back, unit link insurance plan, or endowment insurance plan, where whatever money you have invested, in addition to the saving, the premium amount or risk amount, that will be returned to you. Credit link insurance cover is available with the bank loans. Suppose somebody has taken a housing loan. Housing loan is given for a 25 to 30 years period. Maybe after 5 years or 10 years, something happens and the person dies. The loan amount is outstanding. The family is living in the house. The bank may very well recover the loan by selling the property or selling the house. But what will happen to his family where they will live? So if they can have bank loan insurance or credit link insurance cover, his family need not have to bother. The outstanding amount will be repaid by the loan by the insurance company, and the house is free from loan amount, and the family can stay there. Similar in case of car loan or education loan, this cover is available because if the borrower, the person who has taken a vehicle loan or who has taken a student loan, if he person dies, his family need not have to bother to repay the loan. The amount will be paid by the insurance company. Let us see the next slide. The life insurance is available as a kind of financial protection. It protects your family to the same standard of life. What is same standard of life? Suppose right now the monthly income of the person is 50,000 rupees. So his family is used to a life of 50,000 rupees per month. The person dies. Now, how the family can live the same standard of life? If the person has taken a good amount of insurance cover and that generates a monthly income of 50,000 rupees, then his family can live the same standard of life. Similarly, the life insurance protects the family against the liability, against the bank loans. So it is available in the form of bank loan insurance. If the death of the person, the family need not have to the outstanding loan, those loans will be paid by the insurance company. Now the third point comes when you want to take a term plan or insurance cover, you have to take as soon as possible in your life. If you take an insurance cover in the young age, when you are 25 to 30 years of age, and you take in a good cover, but your premium will be very low. Because if you take the insurance cover at the age of 45 years or 50 years up, it's 55 years, the mortality charges or premium will go up later on. So students, please remember to try to do these three things in your life as early as possible. First, try to do the investment as early as possible. Buy a house and take a housing loan as early as possible, and take an insurance cover for a good amount in the young age. You can also take a unit insurance plan. It can be used in a retirement planning too. So this way we have seen everything about the insurance. Now we'll go to the next slide and see how to protect our digital assets. Our bank account, we have to prevent the financial frauds which are taken place in your, maybe taken place in your account, maybe in your demat account, maybe with your credit card, or maybe it's your debit card. So let us go to the next slide. What are the tips for protecting your financial assets? Students or participants, you will be getting regular SMS or email from banks or finance company or from RBI saying that never share your financial details, never share your sensitive data, financial data with anyone. Even then the people share these data and get defrauded and money is lost from their account. So please remember not to share your financial details like 16-digit credit or debit card number. Please remember the 16-digit debit or credit card number is not required by any bank employee or any employee except for withdrawing money from your account, either from ATM or from your bank account through the online transaction. This number is not maintained anywhere in any computer, any data. It is not known to anyone. So nobody can see that number except if you share this with anyone. CVV, the 3-digit number which is given behind your credit or debit card, is required only to do the online transaction from your credit or debit card number. It is not known to anyone. Unless you share it, it cannot be used by anyone. So never share with anyone. ATM or debit card, credit card PIN, this 4-digit PIN which you set yourself is not to be shared with anyone. Somebody calls you, somebody talks to you, somebody sends you an email and asks for your credit card, ATM card PIN on any pretext, never share with anyone. UPI PIN, the 6-digit number when making UPI PIN is not to be shared by you with anyone. This PIN is used for sending money to anyone. When you want to send money to someone, you have to share the UPI PIN. But suppose you have to receive money from someone, you have sold something to you, you have sold something to someone, and you have to receive the money, then you need not have to share UPI PIN. If you are using the net banking or mobile banking, You should not share its ID or password with anyone. OTP, the 6-digit number you get when you make an online transaction. It is to be used by you only. It is received in your mobile phone and to be used by anyone. Never share with anyone on protection of anything. Don't share your UPI pin on protection of receiving money. Suppose you share something on a online selling sites like OLX or Quicker, and somebody is ready to buy it. He will show interest in it and say that I want to buy it. I want to send you money. For sending you money, I am sending you a link. Please click on the link. Please remember that enter your UPI pin. Please remember you need not have to share your UPI pin if you want to receive the money. Politely tell him that I cannot share my UPI pin. You will just send money to me and share you have to use the UPI pin. Similarly, if you receive some QR code from a stranger, you do not know the person who is sending you, and you scan the QR code, it may happen that the QR code may be a fraudulent QR code, and it may get access to your device. It may read the data from your device. It may read some sensitive data like bank account detail or your ATM card detail from your device. So never share, never scan the QR code received from a stranger. Now there are certain other tips. Suppose somebody calls you, you get a call from someone and he says that I am calling from a bank, or I am calling from RBI, or from a government office, or from police station, or from a KYC authority, and there are certain problems in your account. They will show some urgency that if you do not do within 15 minutes or half an hour or 1 hour, 2 hours, your account will get blocked, your ATM card, debit card will get blocked. There will be some problem in your passport, there will be some problem in your KYC in some debit account. Please remember there is no urgency, nobody will show you urgency, and they will not ask to share any details. Tell them politely that I will visit the particular company's account, I will go to the bank, I will go to the police stations, and I will go to the government office and complete my formality. I do not want to share these details over online or through email or by clicking any link, because you do not know the person who is calling. You do not know the person is calling from the bank or not. He may be a fraudster and he may try to get the details from you and use it somewhere else. If somebody, unknown source, try to tell you to download a mobile app by calling you, by sending a SMS or by through email, never download such mobile apps if you received from unknown sources. Try to download these mobile apps only from the secure sources like Google app or iPhone. From those sources only you download. Avoid click on attachment or links received in mail from unknown sources. Suppose somebody send you a link to pay your fees, please download this link or click this attachment. If you want to pay your fees or you want your electricity bill, go to the electricity site or go to the college site, click the link that please pay fees here or pay your mobile charges here and do the transaction. Because these links received on the unknown sources could be look alike as a proper link. Suppose a ICICI bank link, in that case I may not be genuine. It may be a L or it may be not even I, it can be select click I. So you cannot be able to distinguish between a genuine link. So never click such a link received from the unknown sources. Let us go to the next slide. There are certain investment schemes. Right side, you have invest in saving account, you are getting 3% interest. You open a fixed deposit, you will get 6% interest. You keep your money in mutual fund, you get 8 to 10%. And you invest money in the share market, you get 12%. But if somebody comes to you and promises that I will give you 25% return or 50% return, and there is no risk, can you believe it? Please remember, higher return, higher risk. So if you do not know the person, do not know the company, and they want to collect the money from you, do not invest in such schemes. Come 120% return, assured zero risk. But it can be a shady product. You will give your hard money and the salesman will run away with the money. He will not be traceable after 2 months or 3 months. And whatever money you have invested, it will not give you any return, but even principal will be lost. So remember that there are no such schemes which will be promising you higher return without higher risk. So if you want to invest somewhere, Please study the investment scheme properly, study the company's basics properly, company's proper past records properly. Like that, only then you invest in the various companies. Let us see the next slide. If there is a cyber crime happens, if somebody defrauds you and money is lost from your account, then you can report the cyber crime by logging on to National Cyber Crime Reporting Portal or www.cybercrime.gov.in or helpline number 155260, or you can follow them on their Twitter at cyberdost. So these are some of the helpful sites available for reporting a cyber crime. Next slide. Many times you get SMS or emails stating that you have won a lottery for a bigger amount, maybe $100,000 or 100,000 euros, which comes to around 70 lakh to 80 lakh rupees. So you believe you will be attracted to that message and you will share your details with them. Remember, there are no such schemes. Those companies will use the name as a Reebok, Olympic, or Gillette as a international company and tell them that the company is from London or from UK or from USA or New York. So you have to do certain formalities. You have to give your certain detail, your passport detail, your Aadhaar card detail, your bank account detail. Please remember, there are no such attractive schemes. Never share your details to get the lottery amount. They may say the amount is deposited to the RBI. Share your account details. They will collect your Aadhaar card detail, your account detail, and may try to use it elsewhere. Maybe taking a duplicate SIM in your name, or maybe try to get some other fraudulent use. So never share these details with anyone. Next slide. Now the last point comes, whatever assets we accumulated, we have to transfer the wealth to our next generation. For that, we have to make a nomination and will. So let us see in the next slide why nomination is important. You have to ensure nomination in all the accounts, all the investment, as many accounts you are having. Maybe your bank account, maybe bond account, maybe mutual fund account, maybe demat account. As many as accounts you are having, try to nominate in all the accounts. What is nomination? How do you nominate? It is a very thoughtful exercise. Suppose right now you are very young, you are single, you are not married. So you can nominate your brother or your father or your mother as your nominee. Once you get married, you can nominate your spouse, your wife or your husband as a nominee. Once you get kids, you can nominate your child, maybe your son or your daughter as a nomination, or both as a nominee. Once you get older, you can nominate your grandchild, maybe your granddaughter or granddaughter. Or you can also donate some of the amount to some trust like that. But during the period, if the circumstances changes, please note to update the nomination immediately. Like, so you have nominated your brother and unfortunately the person dies, then try to change the nomination immediately. Again, make the nomination in somebody else's name. Make a soft copy, upload it on clouds, and keep a hard copy file of all your investment organized name wise, so that anything happens, your family member can know the details of your investments. Based on the above data, make a will as early as possible. Please remember, whether you make a nomination or a will, if you change your mind, it can always be updated later on, because in your life period, maybe 25 to 30 years period, or maybe 60 years period, you may think of changing the nomination anytime, depending on the circumstances. So remember, it can be changed anytime. So we have come to the conclusion of today's session. We have learned about savings, we have learned about investment, we have learned about investment, about mutual fund, about credit card, about loans, and about the nomination, and about securing our account through the various methods. So we are now open to the question and answer. Anybody who has a question can come forward, and I will try to answer to the best of my possible knowledge.
Participants, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and you can ask the questions, or you can post in the chat box also.
Ma'am, you can see the next slide and stop it. It is just a thank you slide, and so that you can stop the presentation. And I will also request some of the participants to put on their cameras so that